here we are, it's December 20 and we have our Christmas turkey. The Victorian Liberal leader, John Pesutto, and I use the word leader in the loosest possible sense, used his casting vote this morning to keep Moira Deeming out of the Liberal Party room. What a fool. He could have embraced the spirit of Christmas and welcomed her back to the table, but that would have required humility. And the man who would be Premier seems to have none of that, which should disqualify him from ever being Premier. Let's recap the saga for those of you up the back. John Pesutto defamed Moira Deeming as a Nazi sympathiser because he was embarrassed about her stance against trans ideology. Can't have a woman defending women's rights. What will the woke say? And besides, what is a woman? Pesutto sure knew what a Nazi was, though, and so he had Moira Deeming expelled from the Liberal Party room for being a Nazi sympathiser. He put together an entire dossier of lies in a bid to prove the point. Well, Moira Deeming didn't take too kindly to the accusation, mainly because she wasn't one.
It's been a traumatic 2 years, and I just couldn't help but think, this has just been a sham expulsion, a sham termination. It's done so much damage, and for what? It was obviously all not true.
Well, she offered to settle the matter out of court, but John Pesutto refused. He figured Moira Deeming would just go away. See, he really doesn't know what a woman is. Moira Deeming, a rare Victorian Liberal in that she has principles and isn't prepared to sell them, took John Pesutto to court. Well, the judge found that Pesutto's claims about Deeming were a bigger joke than the Victorian budget. And as everyone in Victoria knows, that's saying something.
This judgment is a public acknowledgement that there was never any justification, legal, moral or political, for what was done to me and to my family. This should not have come to this. I should not have had to go to court. This could have all been avoided. I don't understand the decisions that were made that led to this outcome. I had no other way to defend myself and to have these things retracted. I was never the aggressor. All I did was defend myself. Apparently all I did wrong was refuse to defame innocent women without any evidence, but I would have thought that's the right thing to do. I refused to give up my principles and my advocacy for child safeguarding, and I would have thought that's the right thing to do.
Now, it was at that moment that a man would have conceded the point. A man would have admitted he was wrong. A man would have said sorry, but what's a man? I don't think the Liberal leader knows the answer to that one either. Pesutto, whose stature as an alternate leader can only be described and understood in terms of shrinkflation, chose to stand and boast about what a fighter he was.
I do wish to emphasise, though, for all Victorians, that I've always been a fighter, and I've always been a fighter for the right reasons and for the right people, the Victorian people. And that's why I will continue in this role.
It was a curious boast. I mean, he was a fighter, all right. A dirty fighter who picked a fight with a woman only to succeed in giving himself two black eyes. Who would seriously want that man in their corner? Well, as it turns out, the suicidally stupid, unprincipled and gutless Victorian Liberal Party. That's who. But hey, it's Christmas, a time of year when peace and goodwill floods the land, a season in which even the most dysfunctional families come together in the spirit of Christianity and love and forgiveness. But in proof the Victorian Liberals are so stupid, they don't even know what time of year it is. They've chosen Christmas to crucify Moira Deeming, and all over again. They voted today to keep her out of the party room, with John Pesutto casting the deciding vote when the ballot was tied, which means he voted twice to keep her in exile. Ho, ho, ho. Pesutto reminds me of King Herod on that first Christmas, who in a mindless, violent rage sought to kill every rival to his throne, only to ensure the demise of his own. Imagine if Pesutto had woken up this morning as a man. Imagine if he'd been man enough to front the party room and insist that Deeming should be welcomed back and given the Shadow Women's Ministry portfolio. That would have been a show of strength and could have salvaged his leadership. But manoeuvring to keep her on the outer after everything that's happened, well, that's weaker than a half-strength decaf made from skim milk. And the Victorian Liberals are delusional if they think anyone is going to be swallowing that. Not a wise man amongst them. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott tweeted, "A shameful result from the Victorian Liberal Party room. How can someone elected as a Liberal be expelled on the basis of a lie and not be readmitted once the truth is there for all to see, especially right before Christmas, the season of goodwill. This is truly contemptible failure to act with honour and decency. And he's right. Deeming was accused, bullied, defamed and banished. And then she proved in a court of law that the entire thing was baloney. And yet, knowing full well that Deeming was expelled from the party room on the basis of a lie, the Victorian Liberals voted to uphold the expulsion. On that first Christmas, Mary found no room at the Bethlehem Inn. And this Christmas, Moira found no room at the Liberal party room. You know, there's a lot of things in life that are difficult to understand, but I'm telling you this, the virgin birth is easy to understand to the Victorian Liberals. Moira Deeming released a statement today saying, quote, "I was elected a Liberal and I remain a proud Liberal member. And I know that with their continuing support, I'll get the apology that's owed to me and that it's only a matter of time before I return to the party room." Well, John Pesutto, who's not the Messiah, he's just a very naughty boy, insisted today the entire matter was over.
This concludes the matter of the membership or otherwise of the parliamentary party. No, I think the matter has been bookended today. And today marks a bookend to this discussion.
Delusional. The fact that he had to say 3 times that the entire matter was over is proof that the entire matter is far from over.